State of Ohio versus Joseph Monteleone. He is charged with 4 counts of sexual imposition, 2 counts of importunity. The victims in this case, and right now I'm just going to refer to them as their first names. There's going to be a lot of names here, and I want to keep this as straightforward as possible. We have victim, and we have victim 3 young girls, ages 13, 15, and 17. What you're going to hear through testimony from these 3 girls and 2 assistant managers from the pizza shop, Master's Pizza, where the defendant worked and owned, what you're going to hear from them is behavior by the defendant that was not only inappropriate for an adult, for anyone, was not only unprofessional as their boss. He was the boss to these victims. Unprofessional as a boss, unprofessional as an Elyria city councilman. But his conduct, you will hear, was perverted and criminal. You will hear that he surrounded himself with plenty of young girls, many of them like 13, a troubled girl who even lived at the Haven Center at one point. Troubled, vulnerable young girls who he basically targeted. This is a 40-year-old man, her boss, who put his hand on her butt. He then tried to, you will hear from, oh, I was joking, I kicked you. Oh, I was trying to go and help a customer, I accidentally kicked you. Always trying to explain it away. Once again, he fools no one. He was not fooled. She knew what his intention was, especially because she was seeing it going on in the pizza house. The comments, as little as things that when you couldn't even order a pizza with sausage without hearing Mr. Monteleone say something about the sausage comment and grab himself in his private area. This is the type of environment he was setting up for these young girls. A week after he touched his butt, and she reported it to a manager, he then goes up to her, says something along the lines of, this is a juvenile he's talking to, goes up to her and says, having a bad day, something along those lines. What are we going to bathroom? This is out of Mr. Monteleone's mouth.
We are dealing with 3 complainants here. 17 years old. There's 1 allegation of misdemeanor sexual imposition. Is 13 years old. There's 2 allegations of sexual imposition, and is a 15-year-old with 2 felony counts of importunity and 1 count of sexual imposition. You're going to find from the evidence was employed at Master Pizza. She started her employment in approximately September of 2005 and ended her employment on November 1st of 2005. You're going to find out was working around the shop, but she was not an employee. She didn't fill out an application. She wasn't on the schedule to work there. She was basically helping out around the shop. Joseph was allowing her to do some things around there, pretty much to help her out because she was on hard times, and to help the family out. He knew her father, so he allowed her to work there to do some things that helped her out, and he paid her some money. But she wasn't on the schedule, and she didn't have a pay rate or anything like that. You're going to find out that Joe Monteleone had very little contact with her whatsoever. Maybe saw her 3 or 4 times in his whole life. She was a friend of, and she came in to the shop to do some things around there, primarily to hang around. She didn't do too much, and she was only there a few times. You're going to find out that was then not welcome there anymore because she was stealing from Joe. And Joe told her that she wasn't allowed anymore, or at least told his managers that she wasn't allowed in the store. There's some things that were happening during this period of time. Joe was running for council, which I believe shows that it's very unlikely that he's going to engage in this kind of conduct right when he's in the tail end of a campaign, and then right after he's elected. But furthermore, there was a drug policy that he was introducing into his pizza shop, where the employees were going to be drug tested, and particularly wasn't going to be able to pass that test, and that is one of her primary motives for coming after Joe with these false allegations. You're going to find Dave's motive, I think the evidence is going to show, is that she wasn't welcome there because Joe was basically calling her a thief. And it's kind of just going along with this whole thing. The evidence will show that at one point in time, she came to the pizza shop after these allegations and said that none of these allegations were true. And I think she now may be recanting that recantation. When you hear all the evidence, though, Judge, you're going to, I believe the evidence will show that the state is not going to put on a credible case, that they are going to fail to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, and that this court will have no alternative